Hello, good morning, my class 10 students. This is the fifth video on the chapter 1 Resources and Development of your Geography. It is in the continuity of the syllabus after conservation of resources. Conservation of resource was discussed in the last video. So let us come to discuss land resource. We live on land and we perform most of our activities on land. We derive most of our needs from land. That is why land is said to be the natural resource of utmost importance. Land is a natural resource of highest importance because it supports natural vegetation, wildlife, economic activities, transport and communication, and all other activities that we perform on land. And so certainly land is a natural resource of highest importance. But land is an asset of finite magnitude. It means we cannot increase the land area. We have to satisfy our needs with the available land only. As we find, the demand for the utilization of land increases day by day, but its area is limited and we cannot increase it. So we need to use our land judiciously with a proper planning, and this is the main objective of this topic to be included in the syllabus. Now let us go to have an account of land resource in India, especially in the term of its utilization. The total geographical area of India, is 3.28 million square kilometer. But all the area is not same in term of relief. In fact, we find 43% area of the country is under mountains. Mountains account for the 43% area of the country. Accounts for 30% of the total area, and plateau accounts for 27% of the total area. And each of these relief plays very important role in our development, in our sustenance, in our economic development. Mountain is a storehouse of water for our river. It regulates the perennial flow of the rivers. It is also important from ecological point of view. It helps in maintaining ecological balances, and it also attracts a large number of tourists every year. Plains provide land for agriculture, for production of crops, as well as for different infrastructures for economic development. Plateau is a storehouse of minerals. Plateau is rich in mineral deposits, and so that provide minerals for our industrialization. And in this way we find each of these relief complements other. All are complementary to each other, and that gives opportunity. All together they give opportunity for the development. Each of them is necessary part of our land resource. Now the topic is land utilization. Land utilization. My students, we use our lands for a variety of purposes, for a number of purposes, such as forestry, agriculture, industries, transport and communication, etc. So, the utilization of land for various purposes is called land use. is called land use. Every country, in every country we find certain land use categories. I mean, land is divided into different categories for its utilization. This is true for our own country also, for India also. We have certain categories of land use. First, we will know those categories, and then we will go to answer a question based on land use pattern in India. So, first, let us get acquainted with the various terms and various categories of land use or land utilization. Normally, the land utilization category is divided into five groups. The first you see is forest. Forest is an essential part. It maintains ecological balance, provides timber, herbals, and so many things. So, forest, every country keeps some area reserved for forest. The second is land not available for cultivation. There are there is a certain area of land which is not available for cultivation. It includes two aspects. One, barren and wasteland. There are certain land which are rocky, arid, desert, which are not suitable for cultivation. They are called barren and wasteland. And the second, land put to non-agricultural usage. We need housing, road, other means of transport, industries. All are on the land only. They are not available for agriculture. So certain area is put to non-agricultural usage. And then third category is other uncultivated land. I mean, besides land not available to agricultural usage, we have certain other uncultivated land, and it has three aspects, three categories. One is pasture land, pasture or grazing land. Actually, the land is left for growing grass and other vegetation, that is left for that is kept for grazing. Animals graze in that part. Animals go for grasses, etc. So that is pasture land. Every country keeps certain area under pasture land. In India, it is just 3.38%, which in proportion to the number of cattle animals we have in the country is very less. The second is land under miscellaneous tree crops. There are a number of tree crops, suppose bamboo or many tree we grow for timber, etc. So these are permanently under tree crops, and it is not available for agriculture. It accounts for just 1.11%. And cultivable wasteland. Third is cultivable wasteland. Cultivable, you can understand in the simple word cultivable. I mean the land which was cultivated, which is suitable for, which was suitable for cultivation. So cultivable wasteland means the land which has not been, which was used to be cultivated, but which has not been cultivated for more than 5 agricultural years. The land which has not been cultivated for more than 5 agricultural years, that land is called cultivable wasteland. In India, it accounts for about 4.17% of the total area. So this is a big area that is cultivable wasteland. This land can be brought back into agricultural practices, into agricultural use through certain physical, chemical or biological treatment. And then the fourth category is fallow lands. Fallow lands. My dearest friends, fallow lands are those lands which are left uncultivated for a certain period of time, maybe between the two crops or between the two seasons or between or for a longer period. when it is left uncultivated, mainly to regain the fertility or moisture or due to some other factors. When it is left uncultivated, it is called fallow land. So this is a culturable land which has been left uncultivated for certain period of time with a purpose, mainly to regain the fertility and to regain the moisture, etc. It is of two types: current fallow and other than current fallow. The current fallow refers to that cultivable land which has not been cultivated for 1 year or less than 1 year. Current fallow is that land which has been left uncultivated for 1 year or less than 1 year. So that is current fallow. And other than current fallow, the land which has not been cultivated for more than 1 year and less than 5 agricultural year. Again, I say other than current fallow includes that land or refers to that land which has not been cultivated for more than 1 year and less than 5 years. Now, the very important category is net sown area. Net sown area. The net sown area, I mean the area of the land which is cultivated regularly, which gets under crop at least once in an agricultural year. In an agricultural year, every country has its own agricultural year, and timings may be different. In India, actually from it starts from July and continues up to June, following June. In fact, actually, it starts with the onset of monsoon and continues till the another onset of monsoon. That is one agricultural year in India. So, the net sown area is the physical extent of land under crops in one agricultural year. But there are certain areas which are multiple cropped areas. I mean, certain area of the land is cultivated only once in a year that is used for growing only one crop. But certain areas are used or cultivated and utilized for growing more than one crop, two crops, three crops, and four crops, sometimes four crops also. This area is called multiple crops. So multiple cropped area get multiplied. I suppose 2 acre of land is of multiple crops. Suppose 3 crops. We grow 3 crops on 2 acre land in one agricultural year. So total area under crop becomes here 2 3 just 6 acre in one agricultural year. This is called multiple crop. So there is a term gross cropped area. Gross cropped area. So gross cropped area is the multiple cropped area plus net sown area. Multiple cropped area plus net sown area. So this is called gross cropped area. So gross cropped net sown area is, suppose the land which is under one crop, the area, total area under one crop in a year. And now there are certain areas are of multiple crop, so that area need to be multiplied by the number of crops grown in a year. And together if we calculate, that gives the magnitude of gross cropped area. Now, let us talk the land use pattern in India. So India, now we will talk the land use pattern in a specific term in a specific context with India. India's land use pattern. So in India also we will see the utilization of land in the five categories as which discussed above. The first category is forest. The forest, if possible, we can give this that forest accounts for 22.78% of the total area. I mean 22.78% of the total area of India is occupied under forest. covered under forest. This is far lower than the desired 33% area. Actually, in the National Forest Policy 1952, we had decided that we will have 33% area under forest. But actual forest we have only 22.78%. This is far lower than. And we are not able to increase the land under forest. There are certain reasons. Actually, there is increasing, with the increasing population, the demand for agricultural land is increasing. With the increasing population, the land for industrialization is needed, and land is also needed for infrastructural development. So because of mounting pressure of population on land, we are unable to increase the land under forest. Now, we have certain barren and second category is land not available for cultivation. Land not available for cultivation. It has in this category, we have about 14.18%. 14.18% land is not available for cultivation. It has two categories. One, barren and wasteland. I have already explained what is barren and wasteland, and that accounts for 8.61% of the total area is barren and wasteland, and land put to non-agricultural usage like house, road, etc. accounts for 5.57%. But so any one only, the total percentage of this category can be utilized for answer, that is 14.18% of the total area is land not available for cultivation. Third category is other uncultivated land. Other uncultivated land. It has three categories: pasture land, then land under permanent miscellaneous tree crops, land under tree crops, miscellaneous tree crops, and third is cultivable wasteland. Altogether, it accounts for 8.66% of the total area. And the fourth is fallow lands. Already discussed what are fallow lands. And fallow land fallow land has two categories: current fallow and other than current fallow. So it has two categories. So its total percentage is 7.54% of the total area of the country. And so far net sown area is concerned, so its percentage is 42.26%. But if we include multiple cropped area, then the percentage of gross cropped area reaches to 54%. So including the multiple cropped area plus the net sown area, we have about 54% of the total area under crops. So, and this cropping pattern, the net sown area, pattern of net sown area might vary from one state to another state. Like in Punjab and Haryana, we find more than 80% area under crops. But in certain states of Northeast or Andaman Nicobar, it is quite less than 10% also. So these are the 5 points to be written when the question is write the land use pattern in India. What are the 5 points? Forest, land not available to agricultural usage, other uncultivated land, fallow lands, and net sown area and gross cropped area. So land resource is this much. In the next topic, we will discuss about land conservation and degradation and conservation. Thank you.